Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something pretty fundamental, actually. It's about building an ethical way to, guide clients, specifically in real estate.
Yeah, we got some really interesting material from a listener outlining this seven-step process.
And what jumped out at me straight away was this focus on partnership, truly understanding the client, not just making a sale.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is the background of this framework.
Yeah.
Peter Hopkins adapted it for the 2025 market, specifically aligned with Keller Williams MREA models.
Okay.
But the core ideas, they've been around for decades, tested. Some even going back to the Great Depression era, believe it or not.
Wow, really? That kind of longevity, it suggests there's something really solid there, doesn't it? Something about human connection and trust.
Definitely. It speaks volumes.
Okay, so our mission today for this deep dive is to unpack these 7 steps. We want to explore how they actually work, how they can lead to, more genuine client relationships and ultimately better outcomes.
And it's not about pushy tactics, right? It's framed as more of a thoughtful journey with the client.
Precisely. So let's start that journey. Step 1. Begin the walk together. Establish genuine rapport.
Right. And the material really emphasizes this isn't about forced friendliness or, trying too hard to be similar. It's about something called calm attunement.
Calm attunement. I like that phrase.
Yeah.
So it's more about being genuinely present, observing, listening, connecting gently.
Exactly that. And they give some practical tools, things like soft eye contact, open body language, the basics, really.
Makes sense.
But also things like gentle pacing and mirroring the client's energy a bit. And even just taking care to pronounce their name correctly.
They sound like small things, but I guess they signal something important, like genuine attention.
They really do, pronouncing a name right. It shows basic respect, doesn't it? It says, I see you as an individual. And the pacing, the mirroring, when done subtly, it helps create that subconscious feeling of being, in sync.
Okay, I can see that.
And this links directly back to the MREA lead generation model, chapter 4, I think. Because if you don't build that initial trust, that rapport, the conversation probably doesn't go much further, is it?
No, absolutely not. You lose them right at the start. So step 1 is really about creating that safe, shared space, a trusting starting point,
Got it.
which then allows you to move into step 2. Understand their landscape. See the whole picture. This sounds like it goes way beyond just asking how many bedrooms.
Oh, definitely. It's described as a compassionate exploration. You're trying to understand the client's whole world, their situation, their emotions, their real goals underneath it all, the why, not just the what.
Compassionate exploration.
Okay. And there's this tool mentioned, the head, heart, hands inquiry. What they think, what they feel, and what they can practically do.
Head, heart, hands. Tell me more about that. How does that help?
Well, the idea is that for a successful outcome, those 3 really need to align. Someone might think they should sell, but their heart isn't in it, or practically the hands part, they just aren't ready to manage the process.
Yeah. Okay. So it flags potential disconnects. It's not just the property, it's the life context, the timing.
Exactly. And the material stresses letting things breathe, allowing pauses, space for reflection, not rushing them.
Why is that silence or pause so important here?
It shows respect, I think. Respect for the gravity of the decision they're making. It lets them process, maybe articulate things they wouldn't otherwise say if you're just firing questions at them.
Right. It avoids that interrogation feeling.
Yeah. And the example questions support this, like, what would a great outcome look like, practically and emotionally?
Right.
Or, what's made now the right time? These aren't quick answer questions.
No, they definitely invite more thought.
And this deep understanding, this whole seeing the landscape thing, it ties into the MREA economic model. Better understanding leads to, better conversion rates down the line. You can actually help them properly.
Because you know what they really need and want,
Okay.
which naturally leads into step 3. Walk them through the terrain, illuminate their options. I'm picturing laying out a map for them.
That's a perfect analogy. It's about clarity, calm presentation, not a sales pitch. Here are the paths based on what you've told me.
And using tailored summaries, visual or verbal.
Yeah, whatever fits the client. Clear comparisons. And, crucially, framing it with, based on what you shared, using their language.
Oh, that's key. Avoiding the jargon.
Absolutely critical. Why do you think it's so emphasized? Using their language.
Well, it makes it accessible, right? Less intimidating. If you're throwing around industry terms, it just creates distance, maybe even makes them feel, stupid or uninformed. Using their words shows you listen. It feels collaborative.
Exactly. It's with them, not at them.
And the examples reflect that. Here are some directions that align, or this path might support the peace of mind you mentioned, and even inviting them to pause. Let's pause wherever something doesn't feel right. Very empowering for the client.
Totally. The goal here is simply understanding, reduce confusion, make sure they get it before deciding. And that obviously helps with the MREA-led conversion model, strengthens your value proposition. Clear understanding equals perceived value.
Makes total sense. Okay, step 4. Pause and reflect. Together invite alignment. This sounds like it's specifically about handling, well, objections or hesitations.
It is, but the framing is really interesting. It suggests reframing objections not as problems, but as like unspoken values.
Unspoken values. How so?
Well, if someone objects to a price, maybe the unspoken value is financial security. If they hesitate on timing, maybe the value is family stability. So instead of fighting the objection, you honor the underlying value. You get curious about it.
Okay. So you don't just try to overcome it, you try to understand why it's there.
Precisely. The tools mentioned are things like slowing down the pace, using framing questions like, is this more about X or Y, to really clarify the root concern, affirming before inquiring.
And that language, that's a valid concern. Let's look at it together. Or, sounds like you're being thoughtful and careful here. That validation must be huge for trust.
Absolutely. It stops them feeling defensive. It respects their intelligence. You become a partner in navigating the concern, not an opponent trying to push past it. It's core to good objection handling, really, like in the MREA model.
Right. Okay, then step 5 is respect their hesitations, navigate resistance with care. How is this different from step 4? The titles are quite similar.
It's a subtle shift, I think. Step 4 is about understanding the hesitation. Step 5 is about how you proceed afterwards. It's about moving forward only when it feels right, truly collaborative.
As co-authors, the material says.
Yeah, I like that. Offering the next step clearly, calmly, ensuring alignment.
Yeah.
And again, allowing for silence. Why do you think silence is important here?
I guess it gives them that final moment to really check in with themselves, to feel like the decision is truly theirs, without any lingering pressure from me filling the space.
Exactly. It reinforces their agency.
And the language reflects that, too. It sounds like we're aligned. Shall we take the next step together? It's an invitation, not a demand. And that clincher, only if everything feels right, we can move forward now. Powerful.
Very. It ensures commitment comes from clarity and readiness, not persuasion, which, again, links to the MREA economic model, nurturing leads properly until they are genuinely ready to commit. Better long-term results.
Right. So commitment happens. Then step 6. Step forward, together, co-create the commitment. This sounds like it goes beyond just getting the signature.
Way beyond. This is about staying present after the agreement, upholding your word, being there for questions, supporting their peace of mind throughout the whole process.
So not disappearing once the deal is done.
No, quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It highlights things like thoughtful, unprompted follow-ups, remembering details about them, honest check-ins, how's it really going, quick corrections if something isn't right. Why do you think that continued contact matters so much?
Well, it proves your commitment wasn't just about the initial transaction, right? It builds that deeper relationship. Shows you genuinely care about their outcome, not just your commission. It turns a sale into, well, a relationship.
Perfectly put. That's how you build lasting trust.
And the examples nail it. Just checking in. Is anything still feeling unclear? And especially, I'm still here for you, even if it's months from now. That speaks volumes.
It really does. And this is pure MREA lead generation model thinking, right? The 33-touch system, it's about consistent value and contact to build those relationships that lead to referrals and repeat business. Transaction becomes transformation.
Love that. Okay, and the final step, number 7, is basically reinforcing that idea. Stay by their side, serve beyond the sale.
Exactly. It just underlines that ongoing commitment, solidifying the trust, showing you're in it for the long haul.
So, wrapping this up, these 7 steps: rapport, understanding the landscape, illuminating options, pausing for alignment, navigating hesitations carefully, co-creating commitment, and serving beyond the sale. It feels like a very holistic, very human approach.
It really does. The whole framework consistently prioritizes understanding, partnership, genuine connection. It steps away from pressure tactics entirely. It's about being that trusted advisor.
Yeah, it really shifts the focus. This has been incredibly insightful. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How adopting something like this it's not just about being ethical in a checkbox way. It could actually improve your success and make the whole experience better for the client, build a stronger reputation.
Absolutely. It's about playing the long game, building real relationships.
Definitely food for thought. So, for you listening, maybe reflect on how these ideas land with you. Could this ethical framework enhance how you interact professionally or even personally? What's one thing that really resonated? Something you might try.
Great question to leave people with.
Okay, that concludes our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.